Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth, make we reason, make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va, no upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk.
Good evening, good evening. We're listening, watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. Good evening. Tonight we're going to have our special guest will be Opposition Spokesperson and National Security, Mr. Fitz Jackson, the Honorable Fitz Jackson. But we're going to show you something now that many of you don't know. You hear them talking about Member Brown Burke touched the maze, and that is why Mrs. Holness tell her to come out of the Parliament, and all sort of thing going on within the Parliament. Many of you don't know that without the maze, the Parliament cannot start. And Parliament cannot at no time at all begins if the maze is not there. The mazes only can be taken in by the Marshal of the House. And the Marshal of the House is a former member of the Jamaica Defense Force. Basically, I think that's what I know, yes. But there is a documentary put out by one of Jamaica's television station. And I want you all to watch this. As we come on air tonight, share up the live feed. As we come on air, we're going to educate you tonight about the maze. Many Jamaicans don't know that without that, the Parliament cannot start. And within the British parliamentary system, that's the Westminster system, if anyone touched the maze, they're going to tell them to leave the Parliament also. Now, as I said last night, and as I said this morning rather, today, on another program, I said that Dr. Angela Brown Burke was wrong, totally wrong to touch it, but it does not give the Speaker of the House the right to behave the way she behaved. Well, long and short of it, let us play this video here. Some, what they call it now, advertisement may come into it, but bear with me, please. Here we go. We're going to play this for you. This is the maze. That is what Mrs. Holness, Mrs. Dr. Angela Brown Burke take up last night. Let's play this, make you see. That's the base there. That's the entire people to the Jamaican people, the independence. That is the base. That is nothing the Parliament cannot begin. The Spokesperson listen to this. From this, there you go. That's the man who take the basic. He does not take the basic, it cannot begin.
The ceremonial mace is an ornamental staff used in Jamaican parliamentary ceremonies and sessions. Without the mace, Parliament cannot lawfully meet, debate, or pass laws. The mace was recently refurbished by renowned Canadian conservator Alexander Gabov. Marlon Samuels has more in this special report.
At the start of the sittings of Jamaica's Parliament and the Senate, a silver gilt and gold ornamental club about 5 feet in length is carried into the chamber. It is a historic symbol of authority. It's called a mace and dates back to the 1700s.
It is a symbol of authority, representing Her Majesty. Without the mace, procedures of Parliament cannot be, laws cannot be enacted.
This is gentleman here, Colonel Wayne Blake, he's the only person allowed to touch the mace. You can see the mace shaped like a crown because of Queen Elizabeth II who died. It's shaped like a crown. Without that, as he said, the Parliament of Jamaica or the Parliament of the the United Kingdom or the Parliament of any independent country. Barbados is now a republic. I don't think they still use that. But any independent nation who fall under the British Westminster system, without that, the Parliament cannot begin. Let's play some more of this. Come on. Oh, sorry. Hold on for me, please. Here we go.
Repeal or made. The mace acts as that authority. Not only acts as authority, but is placed in the correct position in the Parliament as well.
We have two maces in Jamaica. We have two houses, and each house has its own mace. So, but both of them perform the same function, representing the monarch.
During the Great Earthquake, 1692, the original mace was destroyed, got damaged. Therefore, a resolution was made for a new mace to be made in England. So the instruction was given in 1692, and we got the Senate's mace in 1753.
You see how old this thing is? You see how old this thing is? Way before any one of us was created or have dreamed to be created. In the sense of in our mother's womb. In the 1700 and 1500 or whatever. But that is the maze. Without that, the Parliament, you're going to hear the history of it. We're going to start the program. We're going to start the program with some history first, though. Listen to this.
From hence, we have been using the Senate mace until later in years, we got a second mace, that came about in 1757, and we have been using that mace since. The maces are stored in a strong room in the Speaker's office, and that strong room has two locked to-its. So it is in a safe area and cannot be entered unless it is the Speaker or the Marshal to the Houses of Parliament. There are slight variation in this.
Here he said, unless the Speaker or the Marshal, unless the Marshal there speaking, no one, not even the Clerk of the House of Parliament, nor the persons who clean the Parliament cannot touch that mace. So no member of Parliament is allowed to touch it. Listen to some more of this.
Design in that the House of Representative mace does not have the coat of arm. However, the Senate mace do have the coat of arm on it. Also, the House mace, the crown portion is a bit larger than the Senate mace.
Ceremonial maces are brought to each meeting of the House. So before the meeting convenes, the mace bearer, in our case the Marshal to the Houses, enters the chamber with the presiding officer. So in the case of the House, it would be the Speaker of the House, and with the Senate, it would be the Senate President. Once the members have said their prayers and the Speaker invites them to sit, the mace is placed on the table of the House. The table of the House is that piece of furniture that sits in front of the clerk's desk, and we have on it the laws of Jamaica. So the mace is placed on this. So as long as the House is in session, sitting as the House and not committee, the mace is on the table.
Okay, let me explain something to you. You see where they put the mace up that end there, the top part of there? That's the sitting of the House. When the committee gonna meet, they lower it down, and that's what happened last night. That's why Dr. Angela Brownberg got up to do whatever she got up to do, I don't know. And they end up telling her to leave. But that is basically what's gonna happen. So let's see some more of this. Without the mace, the Parliament, nothing within the House of Representatives can function.
If the House goes into committee, of the whole House that is, then the mace is placed below the table.
There you go. As she said, if the House going to committee, like last night, it was in a committee session last night because they want to pass the NARA bill. So they were in a committee session last night. Listen to some more of this.
Until the House reconvenes, when it goes back to its place for the House to have the authority to sit as the House, or the Senate as the case may be.
The flanged end or the head of the mace, looks like a crown. It is carried on the marshal's shoulder. The mace is engraved with various symbols.
The catalyst supports the crown, and this is actually the structure is in 4 parts. So this represents the support to the crown.
Without its presence in the chamber, Parliament cannot lawfully meet, debate, or pass laws.
If you disrespect the mace, it's as good as disrespecting the monarch. So as long as the House is in session or the Senate is in session, the mace has to be on the table of the House.
There you go. So if it goes back to one thing again, although we are independent, Jamaica still have the British monarch in our parliamentary system. That's the Westminster system. When you're doing political science in school, they teach you all of these things here. Some of them may say it's nonsense. It's not nonsense. Some of these things have been taught in political science in school. And basically, the Westminster system is also in Canada, because Canada has a governor general, and I think one of those countries, what's the name of it again? I don't remember the name of it, but Canada has a Westminster system. Listen to some more what the lady's saying.
At each sitting, the mace is carried at the head of the Speaker's procession by the Marshal.
Order of the Parliament in terms of the chamber and the gallery is the remit of the Marshal. If the President or the Speaker sees anything that is going awry, he will ask the Marshal to lend a hand in maintaining that order and discipline in the chamber and also in the gallery.
All right. That is why last night, Mrs. Holness called him the Marshal, and that's the Marshal there. That's him who's in the Parliament now. That's Mrs. Holness calling him last night to get Angela Brownburg out. Because without, I mean, the whole system sounds a bit confusing, but that's how the system runs. We're going to go over to our normal program. We're just going to speak to you about this some more. Listen to some more of this.
Over the last 20 years, only the mace constructed in 1787 was being used. The 1753 mace was in dire need of cleaning and refurbishing.
They were falling apart, little pieces of them getting broken, getting bent. It was just, they were getting frail and not being addressed. And, we've had to put down one, not work with it at all, because we realized that it would do it more harm than good. And if we didn't repair both of them, restore both of them, the 2 of them would have gone that same direction. So we tried to get this expertise, and through the facility, Canada, the Canadian Parliament, put us in touch with the person we have now doing the work.
Renowned Canadian conservator Alexander Gabov was employed to repair and refurbish both maces. Work on the 1753 mace has been completed. Work is currently being done to repair the 1787 mace. Once both maces have been repaired, the 1753 mace will be used for Senate meetings. The 1787 mace will be used for sittings of the House of Representatives.
The Marshal to the Houses does the everyday operation in relation to getting it, no. He's the person who sees to it that is cleaned periodically. And now we're actually going to be trying to train other persons to assist in the maintenance process so that we don't have to invite somebody once every 300 years to come and address this. So what we're going to be trying to train persons in the use and care of the maces.
Reporting for the news on PBCJ.
There you have it. Without the mace, Jamaica's Parliament cannot go in session, and also without the mace, no laws can be passed in the Parliament of Jamaica. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. So those who are telling you otherwise, you had a history on it. A history on it. And it's many of you may say it's a slavery mentality thing that we have. But that is how our Westminster system is. This has been going on from 1962 until now. So there you have it. We gave you a history of it. Now we're going to speak about what happened in the Parliament, because we're going to stand by to join Opposition Spokesperson and National Security, Mr. Fitz Jackson, who will be my special guest this evening. But meanwhile, the Jamaica Labour Party communication arm sent out a press release condemning Dr. Angela Brown-Burke. When you listen to this.
Angela Brown-Burke in interfering with the mace was most disappointing. The conduct of Angela Brown-Burke in interfering with the mace was most disappointing, unfortunate, and disgraceful. And what makes matters worse is that Brown-Burke attempted to disrupt the sitting of the Parliament, which was meeting to consider the very important matter of a piece of draft legislation which is intended to assist Jamaicans to recover stronger and build back communities in the aftermath of the devastating impact of Hurricane Melissa. What was particularly disturbing as well was the behavior of Brown-Burke's colleagues.
So hold on there. I don't understand these people. Senator Fitz Henry, you didn't see the behavior of Daryl Vaz in the Parliament. You never see the behavior of how Daryl Vaz behaved in the Parliament, Senator Fitz Henry?
Appear to support her impudent and unacceptable conduct. But Jamaicans who have been observing how the PNP has practiced its politics under the leadership of Mark Golding should not be surprised. Clearly, they are tolerant of disorder and indiscipline and are prepared to resort to underhanded tactics in order to fetter policies and draft legislation which are in the best interest of Jamaica.
You know, I don't understand these people, you know. But everybody's condemning what the People's National Party did. Listen to some more of this. This is coming from Nationwide too.
National Party, they owe this country an apology. For all the young Jamaicans who will see this. For all the Jamaicans who will see this.
You know, you people are a bunch of set of hypocrites. You people are a bunch of set of hypocrites. Or a set of hypocrites. I want to show you all something, and I hope I get the right video here. I want to show you something here. In the heart of the Parliament of Jamaica. Watch this. Is this one? Hold on there. Hold on. Did I take the right one up? Lord, I don't think I had the right one here. I'm going to search for it, but I want you to listen to some more of this.
In the reportage, starting from this morning into the days ahead, they owe this country an apology. Absolutely, absolutely despicable behavior on the part of Dr. Angela Brown-Burke.
I don't believe the members of the People's National Party hold Jamaican an apology, you know. I believe, you know who owed Jamaican an apology? Let me show you something here. I find it. Let me show you something here. Who I think who the Parliament of Jamaica and the people of this country an apology. Many of us who call ourselves journalists or want to be journalists will not speak truth to power. I want to show you something here. The behavior in the Parliament of Daryl Vaz last night. I think Mr. Vaz hold the Jamaican people an apology. The media house that keep on saying that the PNP, maybe the PNP does hold Jamaican an apology. But I don't believe so. What I believe who hold the people of Jamaican apology is
Question.
Look
for
at
this
this.
honorable house.
Why is this government building a new home for itself when the people who elected it are still without a home?
Look at the behavior of these people. Look at Daryl Vaz.
This day will be remembered as the beginning of the end of this government. Because the mother in Maroon Town shall remember. The daughter in Darliston shall remember. The baby in Black River shall remember. The pensioner in Portmore shall remember. They will remember the future you stole from them. They will remember the better health care you would remove from them.
I want to break away from that for a bit. You know, my fellow Jamaicans who are watching us, you know, we are faced with a serious problem in this country, you know. A very serious one. A sitting member of parliament is on his feet giving a speech. I want to watch the entire speech in the entirety with Dr. Alfred Dawes. And watch the behavior of other members of parliament. Watch this.
To judge you tomorrow. You have the power to pass this bill today, but the people have the power to judge you tomorrow. When the people who are suffering from the hurricane, you don't talk, you are the Casanova of sweetheart deals.
He was talking about Daryl Vaz there, you know. And Daryl Vaz is a Casanova of sweetheart deals in this country. Look, watch this.
The Casanova of sweetheart deals. When the people who are suffering from the hurricane that passed 6 months ago and now face another hurricane season in 6 weeks, when they realize what was done here today, you will never be forgiven. So let my words go down in prophecy. This day will be remembered as the beginning of the end of this government. Because the mother in Maroon Town shall remember. The daughter in Darliston shall remember. The baby in Black River shall remember. The pensioner in Portmore shall remember. They will remember the future you stole from them. They will remember the better health care you would remove from them. They will remember the hope that they lost on this day. History does not remember those who had power. It remembers those who use the power for the benefit of the powerless.
You see him? You see the behavior of Daryl Vaz? Listen to some more of this.
They will remember the hope that they lost on this day. History does not remember those who had power.
When the mic turn off and you read his lips, the man cost no pinks and pablos and all the cloth. That is at pinks and pablos in Halfway Tree. That came out of Daryl Vaz's mouth in the parliament of this country. And nobody, not one single soul, asked him to apologize or to apologize to the people of Jamaica.
Remembers those who use the power for the benefit of the powerless. You have the power to pass this bill today, but the people have the power to judge you tomorrow. When the people who are suffering from the hurricane, you don't talk, you are the Casanova of sweetheart deals. The Casanova of sweetheart deals. When the people who are suffering from the hurricane that passed 6 months ago and now face another hurricane season in 6 weeks, when they realize what was done here today, you will never be forgiven. So let my words go down in prophecy. This day will be remembered as the beginning of the end of this government. Because the mother in Maroon Town shall remember. The daughter in Darliston shall remember. The baby in Black River shall remember. The pensioner in Portmore shall remember. They will remember the future you stole from them. They will remember the better health care you removed from them. They will remember the hope that they lost on this day. History does not remember those who had power. It remembers those who used.
Look at him. Look at his behavior. My God.
The power for the benefit of the powerless.
Love this one. Dr. Alfred Dawes said that Daryl Vaz is a Casanova of sweetheart deals in this country. What a disgrace. That's what's going on in the Parliament of Jamaica. No respect for the people of this country. I want to listen to something here now. Listen to this one here now.
Please, Angela Brown Burke, I name you. Bill, that's not a joke, you know. 5, 6, and 7. Oh, you don't ever do that, member. Marshall, please. Angela Brown Burke, I name you. Outside. Marshall, but for her. Angela Brown Burke. Members, I name Angela Brown Burke and ask that she be removed from the chamber. Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it. Member outside.
As I said earlier on, Dr. Angela Brown Burke had no right to touch the mace. But the Speaker of the House of Representatives should not act in that manner either. Dr. Angela Brown Burke is a well-respectable lady, just like the Speaker. The Speaker speaks to the lady as if she is the maid at her house, and even the maid don't speak to the maid that way. Or her daughter. It amazes me how these people speak to each other. It amazes me.
Bill, that's not a joke, you know. 5, 6, and 7. Oh, you don't ever do that, member. Marshall, please. Angela Brown Burke.
You know, I don't think the Speaker saw when Angela touched the mace, you know. It's somebody who told her, because I hear someone in the background, what the hell? Listen to this. Listen to this carefully.
Bill, that's not a joke, you know.
You heard the person say, what the hell? Listen to this.
Bill, that's not a joke, you know.
What the hell?
5, 6, and 7. Oh, you don't ever do.
Okay. It took the Speaker 2 to 3 minutes to realize what happened. So somebody have told her that Dr. Angela Brown Burke touched the mace. The Speaker did not see.
That member. Marshall, please. Angela Brown Burke, I name you. Outside. Marshall, but for her. Angela Brown Burke. Members, I name Angela Brown Burke and ask that she be removed from the chamber. Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it. Member outside.
My question to the People's National Party tonight, though, you know, and when Sir Fitz Jackson, Member of Parliament Fitz Jackson, comes on, opposition spokesperson and national security, I'm going to ask him these questions too, you know. Isn't that the PNP now can invoke or have the Parliament put 77A against the Speaker or against Dr. Tufton, or a matter of fact against Daryl Vaz, because Daryl Vaz went on like a very rig in the Parliament too. This is something else. I want to show you something else again, where in the British Parliament, someone touched the mace and hand was to leave. Listen to this.
Work outside.
I think, David, debate to be resumed what day?
See, that's the British Parliament there. Look at this.
I must order the honourable gentleman to withdraw immediately from the House for the remainder of this day's sitting. Mr. Russell Moyle, please leave the chamber.
There you go. At least the Speaker of the British House of Commons have respect, although the Member of Parliament went and touched the mace. The British House Speaker have the respect to say and call the person's name quietly and said, please leave the House. Speaker Holness didn't have that respect at all.
Marshall, vote for her. Members, I name Angela Brown Burke and ask that she be removed from the chamber.
Dr. Angela Brown Burke was removed from the parliamentary sitting after she interfered with the ceremonial mace during a heated debate.
Member, at no time can you grab the mace in Parliament.
I think the honourable gentleman will know the implications of his action. I must order the honourable gentleman to withdraw immediately from the House for the remainder of this day's sitting.
That's not a joke, you know. Angela Brown Burke, outside.
You see the difference between the Speaker of the House of Commons in London and the Speaker of the House in Jamaica? You see the difference between them? Listen to some more of this.
David, debate to be resumed what day? I must order the honourable gentleman to withdraw immediately from the House for the remainder of this day's sitting. Mr. Russell Moyle, please leave the chamber.
Marshall, vote for her. Members, I name Angela Brown Burke and ask that she...
Okay, when you see members of the People's National Party stand up, what they should have done at that time is demand the Speaker of the House of Representatives to tell member Daryl Vaz to leave the Parliament too. Because he went on like a virago and reading his lips, he was chatting some utter cloth. Some cloth. The PNP must have the backbone to stand up and say, no, man. Although the PNP protests, you know, that wasn't going to win the whole entire thing because Dr. Angela Brown Burke should have never touched the maze. Should have never touched it. And what they should have done is say, okay, Dr. Brown Burke, you better you leave. But in the same breath, what they should have said to the Parliament, that if you want Dr. Angela Brown Burke to leave, although it's a total different thing, then Daryl Vaz need to leave too.
She be removed from the chamber.
Dr. Angela Brown Burke was removed from the parliamentary sitting after she interfered with the ceremonial mace during a heated debate.
Member, at no time can you grab the mace in Parliament.
I think the honourable gentleman will know the implications of his action. I must order the honourable gentleman to withdraw immediately from the House for the remainder of this day's sitting.
This is what is going on. Huh? I'm going to open the phone lines. I want you all to call in and tell me what you think. 954-529-8030. 954. I know there's other programs going on speaking about this also. But I showed you the history of the maze. I showed you the history of what the maze stands for in a Westminster system, which of that Jamaica is a part of the Westminster system. Now, I was showing you this earlier. Watch some more of this.
Remember the hope that they lost on this day. History does not remember those who had power. It remembers those who use the power for the benefit of the powerless. This government will be remembered, but I promise you, not for the reason you imagine. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Are you watching Daryl Vaz body language and what come out of his mouth? The Casanova of sweetheart deals in this country. That's Daryl Vaz. Now listen to this criminal here. This one here.
To some of the presentations. As I listened to some of the presentations, and I'm going to quote your last speaker, who said, there are those on the government side who say, don't stop. Let me explain to you that there are those on your side who will not vote Labour, but who have expressed the view that there are times when as parliamentarians we need to stand together for the betterment of this country. And I want, and so...
But former Speaker of the House of Representatives, tell me something now. In what way does the NARA bill gonna help the people of this country? If you all don't put in certain clause and certain things, certain loophole that need to fill. If you don't put certain things in that, you think that the NARA bill or the NARA law will assist the people of this country? You have no credibility to be speaking, Dalrymple. Speaker Dalrymple or former Speaker Dalrymple. Member Dalrymple or Minister Dalrymple. You have no credibility to be speaking in the Parliament. None whatsoever.
And so I want to commend to you all this evening that this is not time to campaign, because the campaign is over.
No, you chatting nonsense.
And, hold on, and the people of Jamaica have spoken.
And you have no shame. In any other modern democracy, you would never sit in that parliament. You, former Speaker Dalrymple Philibert, or whatever your name is, you have no credibility to be speaking. You have no shame. You, Dalrymple, have no shame. You should not be sitting in the parliament of this country. None whatsoever. Or like you should be going somewhere else. If in some other modern democracy, prison don't miss you. Prison don't miss you. But because we, the people of this country, believe that we must, you all are demigods. You are a common criminal. You should not be sitting in the parliament. And you're standing next to another criminal.
They have chosen a government, and the government has a prime minister. So when I hear, when we are speaking about the disaster that Jamaicans face, and I hear presentations that talk about make black people smarty and puss and butter, that is for an election campaign.
No, the puss and butter is for Daryl Vaz. Because many of you don't realize that this NARA bill is giving these people in the parliament who have sticky fingers to put their hands somewhere in the cookie jar. Dalrymple Philibert has no credibility to be speaking in the Parliament of Jamaica, the People's Parliament.
That is not to address the seriousness of what Jamaicans suffer. As I listened to some of the presentations, and I'm going to quote your last speaker, who said, there are those on the government side who say, don't stop. Let me explain to you that...
I showed you a history of the maze that was done. I showed you a history of it. You know something? I don't know if you all saw a video where a member of the Parliament of Barbados or somewhere there take the maze and throw it outside. I think that's what Dr. Angela Brown-Burke wanted to do, because people like all like Dalrymple, who is a common criminal, shouldn't be in the Parliament, And I think that's what Angela Brown-Burke wanted to do, just throw the damn thing outside. Because when you have people like Daryl Vaz, who sit in the Parliament, who believe that he's built up and Duppy Conqueror, come on. We need to wake up in this country, Listen to some more of what this common criminal is speaking about.
There are those on your side who will not vote Labour, but who have expressed the view that there are times when, as parliamentarians, we need to stand together for the betterment of this country.
For the betterment of this country. And I will say this again, for the betterment of Jamaica and for the children of our country, you, former Speaker Dalrymple Philibert, should not be in the Parliament speaking. You have no moral authority to be speaking in the Parliament. None whatsoever. What the individual did in Barbados was to take the maze and throw it through the window. And I think that's what Angela Brown-Burke wanted to do, is take the maze and fling it down Duke Street. Jamaica's Parliament has become a puppy show. A puppy show. There's no respect in the Parliament for the people of this country. Our teachers can't get the salary. When Daryl Vaz sit down on how much billions of dollars of taxpayers' money. Teachers in St. Elizabeth who work hard as teachers. Some teachers take up their own money, helping students. When they come onto the salary, they can't get it. Some teachers, when they're teaching, they go for the salary, the Ministry of Education robbing them. You don't hear Marlon Morgan speaking about that. You don't hear the great Marlon Morgan speaking about it. Idiot Amin. I will say this again. When the awards are given out in this country, I don't want none. I'm not working for any. Because they give awards to common criminals and rapists in this country. And human traffickers. That's who they give awards to. This woman here who's on the screen here who's speaking in the Parliament, Dalrymple, should not be sitting in the Parliament. Should not be sitting in the Parliament. Our teachers, our nurses, our doctors, our civil servants can't get any money. Those are the people I speak for. Those are the people I stand up for. In no other modern democracy can these nonsense happen in Jamaica. And you have these people. You have never seen in the history of this country any parliamentarian taking to the streets for their salary. And are negotiating their salary. But teachers have been negotiating their salary. Teachers have been negotiating their salary while this common criminal sitting in the Parliament speaking.
And I want, and so I want to commend to you all this evening that this is not time to campaign. because the campaign is over. And, hold on, and the people of Jamaica have spoken. They have chosen a government, and the government has a prime.
Hello. All like you shouldn't be talking. If God was like man, all like you dead. Or gone to prison. Because the amount of ballot box that some amount of stuff to get into the parliament of this country is unbelievable. All like you, Dalrymple Philibert, or whatever your name is, former speaker, you have no credibility to be talking about elections either. You have no shame. Because the truth should come out of what you're going on with and what you have been going on with. There will be no peace in this country. We're talking about the people have spoken. The Jamaican people didn't speak in the last election and robbed the election left, right, and center. It is now 7:23. We're standing by to join opposition spokesperson on national security, the Honorable Mr. Fitz Jackson, to come on to speak to us about what happened in the parliament about the security in this country. Because the Minister of National Security and No Peace said that the police must go on and do their business without any body cams. And they can continue to shoot down black people in this country as if they are blackbirds. Poor people, pitney. Listen to what this woman, no disrespect to women, but I like she should be in the parliament. Listen to what she's saying.
Minister. So when I hear, when we are speaking about the disaster that Jamaicans face, and I hear presentations that talk about make black people smarty and puss and butter, that is for an election campaign. That is not to address the seriousness of what Jamaicans suffer.
One moment for me, please. One moment. One moment, please. Hello, make we talk here live.
Hello.
Hello?
So you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Good
go
night.
Ahead.
Good night to you. Good night to you.
Good night
to you.
Yes.
You're trying fire tonight, boss. You're trying fire tonight. Trust me. We need voices like you in our politics, brother.
No.
We need voices like yours in our politics, brother. Your guess is Mr. The opposition spokesman on security tonight, right?
Yes.
I want to ask him. You see? A PNP MP was murdered in Portland, right? The poor accused killer was represented by one of the most distinguished lawyer right now in our country. I know it's been.
And that lawyer, you know, and a chupan's hip, and if it.
Right. And the Mr. Fitz Bailey at the time was in charge of crime at the time, right?
Yes.
And no, he was supposed to go to the circuit court that particular day when he absconded, and there's no report from the police whether this guy is wanted or whether this guy is missing. And to add insult.
Not only that, caller, we don't know if that guy is in the United States or Canada, or there's an extradition request wherever he is to come back to Jamaica to face justice.
We don't know if he's dead.
You remember?
We don't know if he's missing.
You remember the young lady who was brutally raped long time ago? Immaculate student was raped in Kingston.
Yes, that's a cold case.
And nobody was charged for it.
That's a cold case. But you need to ask Mr. Fitz Jackson, how is the PNP so silent? And one of the comrades was brutally slain in Portland.
That's a very good question, sir.
I'll be standing by.
And not only that, you know.
Yes.
When you have corrupt former commissioner of police who's given jobs to head the JUTC or the Transport Authority, who when you write letter to him about what happened, I'm not bring back up anything, you know, but you see all like Owen Ellington. Owen Ellington has no credibility. Former commissioner of police, Owen Ellington has no credibility to be sitting in charge of any entity in this country. None.
When you talk about the workplace one in Turks and Caicos, the one in Fitz Bailey, when you talk about him,
if I should talk about what Owen Ellington, people have written to Owen Ellington about issues, and until now, no justice has been done.
Oh, that's a idiot, man. That don't really have no sense, you know. That's a idiot, you know. Probably the colleague have him off as a serial killer.
He's no idiot.
Serial killer.
No. He's no idiot. Owen Ellington, a former commissioner of police for Jamaica.
They were fingered in the Valley Garden incursion.
Hold on for me. A former commissioner of police presided over the brutal murder of some people in this country. And when letters was written to him, he has no decency to respond to the people. And who for tear out book. But let us don't go down the road there tonight. This country will never come better because people like those.
Our politicians use common criminal and some poor boy put in a uniform and give him a badge to contain the poor. You know, to contain the poor. And to add insult to injury, they're making a fuss over a colonial relic in the parliament.
No. Regardless of what, sir. Regardless of what. Every country within the Caribbean, hold on for me, sir. Mm-hmm. Every country within the Caribbean who is independent and have the Westminster system, sir, they use the maze.
Yes.
And regardless of what, we must have respect for it, sir.
Okay. That's your opinion, which you're entitled to.
Yes.
But I'd like to express my opinion.
Go ahead. You have a right to do it.
Slavery was abolished in 1838. Our forefathers come off of the plantation 188 years ago.
Are we off of the plantation, sir?
Oh no, we're not off of the plantation because the percent of our GDP have to be sustained in the debt, right? So we're still a slave, economic slave this time, not chattel slave this time, but economic slave. But back to the mace, sir. The mace represent our forefathers' slave master, the British, who has been enslaving our forefathers for more than 188 years.
Hold on, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. When Jamaica has natural disaster, don't you know slave master send over and can give you?
Yeah, what the slave master give it, Jeffrey, is a pittance story.
No. What we must say, when the slave masters send millions of pounds to give us, our slave masters in the parliament rob it.
You're 100% right.
Okay.
Those are colonial administrators, Jeffrey. Those are colonial administrators masqueraded as politicians. Colonial administrators masqueraded as politicians. They have never sworn allegiance to the people of Jamaica when they open parliament. They always swear allegiance to the king.
And even if Jamaica become a republic, sir, is it going to stop Jamaica's crime problem? Is it going to stop our teachers from not getting any pay?
That's why we need to reform the constitution, Jeffrey, so we can protect our unborn against those insatiable, corrupt thieves.
And even if we reform the constitution, sir, is it going to help the teacher in St. Elizabeth?
If we put in clause and tenets in our constitution, we can protect civil servants, Jeffrey, from those kleptomaniacs. The more them get, the more them addicted to public funds. They are addicted to public funds. See, $1.3 billion spent on some old school bus. And there's not a nationwide protest.
1.4 billion.
We have $3.4 trillion unaccounted for, and we don't have a nationwide process.
Then
we don't have a nationwide protest.
Who is the cause of that, sir?
You know who's the cause of it? We the people.
Oh, okay.
We the people.
Okay.
Our focus is not on the welfare of the unborn. Our focus is on our individual affair.
You know what is Jamaica's problem, sir? You know what is our problem in our country, sir? The Jamaican people live above their means, and all they think about is hair and nails and long eyelash and long nails, and they can hardly wash you know what. That's all they think about.
Yeah, 100%. Because we are tricked from our educational structure.
And
because
they believe, majority of Jamaicans believe that we here in the United States have life very easy. Because we pick up money off a tree. Some of the Jamaicans, when we go down there, we max out our credit card, go buy Hennessy and boom and bam and boom bam bim bim. And go on like as if we have money. And we come back up here, we buck like a dog, the beg.
True. But listen, the envy and the bad mind, really real boss. Envy and bad mind, really real boss. Because if you are the good, if you come from poor communities and you end up at the good, you have to watch your friend them or your relative them where you're born poor with. That's just a natural, that's just a human condition, brother.
Let me say something here, and I'll say it publicly again. And I said it to Mr. Rattigan. If Mr. Rattigan wants to have a protest again in the United States, I, Jeffrey Tavares, will not be a part of it.
Well, we appreciate your presence.
And you know why I'm saying that?
Protest, boy.
I think it is time for the Jamaican people to get up and demand accountability. We have done enough right here in the United States and in Canada and wherever. It is full time. The people of Jamaica get up and speak out. The people of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, and St. James still don't have a roof over their head. Still don't have... Hold on for me. Roughly 2,500 people between Hanover, St. Elizabeth, and Westmoreland have no light. And a hurricane season is coming up in June. Have you ever seen it? Have you ever seen the Jamaican people go out there and protest against it?
No, the minister fined $150 million US dollar for your GPS. Just imagine that.
The people here in South Florida, a well-known Jamaican diplomat, gave Babsy Grange $400,000 United States dollars to help towards the burial, the Melissa hurricane relief thing. What they had at Hard Rock Cafe. Have anybody in the Jamaican diaspora asked Babsy Grange where that money is, or asked Andrew where the money is? Andrew came up to you, New York the other day begging money again. We're a bunch of idiots in this country.
And
when some of us, hold on for me, sir, when some of it, they clean you know what here in the United States to make ends meet. Andrew sit down in Beverly's house and yam steak. But some of we can't afford for yam steak when we up here. Some of we still a yam dirty gal. Tin mackerel and rice and peas. Or rice. And we allow these bandits to come up here and rob us.
Jeffrey, I tell you, me love you when you burn the fire upon them, you know, I tell you straight, you know. That's why I'm tuning in, you know, brother. I always love you when you burn the fire upon them, you know. Them is a set up, one of them despicable, brother. Trust me. I think they eat the poor black majority of Jamaica. I think they eat the people. That's why they govern them the way they...
They don't hate the people, sir. Do you believe that I can go to Jamaica and just enter parliament like that, sir?
You can't love people and treat people,
Answer the question, sir. Do you believe that I can go to Jamaica now and enter the parliament without somebody vote for me, sir?
No.
So who is to be blamed, sir?
You're the people, you're right, Jeffrey. But I believe they intentionally keep the people poor and hopeless, you know. So when the time for come for politics, for voting...
Then let me ask you a question. Every 5 years we have been swapping black dog for monkey in this country.
That's true.
And every 5 years we can't wake up and say, okay, enough is enough.
You see, You see, when a man hopeless and hungry, brother, and see the opportunity when he can sell out in pitney for a belly full. And that's our problem, brother. That's our problem, brother.
You know, I don't know if my sense of reason is wrong or what, but I believe that our people sit down and take these politicians for their demigods. They worship these politicians. It is now 7:37. We're standing by to join opposition spokesperson on national security, the Honorable Fitz Jackson. Our people, sir, have our kids gunned down by the security forces. You see anybody take to the streets?
384 execution going last year. I know them gone over 120 already for this year. You know, and the Prime Minister been going to police station and look like he's commending the police then for the extrajudicial killing taking place over the country. You know? And
you remember the Tivoli Garden incursion?
I can't forget that, brother.
Okay.
I lose a lot of friends in that invasion.
You remember they had a commission of inquiry that all our good friend Lloyd Laglar couldn't get inside the place?
Right.
Okay.
I can't forget the Tivoli incursion, boy.
Have the Jamaican people hear the true figure of how many Jamaicans was murdered in Tivoli Garden and dumped into a mass grave in Kingston Cemetery?
Yeah, man. See, I got say over 400.
Okay. Have we ever heard the true figure of it?
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
Let me tell you something, There are some leaders in this country who is fit to go to the International Court of Justice in The Hague.
You're right. You're 100%. You're 100%.
There are some former and present criminals in the Parliament of Jamaica who is fit to go to the International Court in The Hague and charged for crime against humanity.
Talking that, Jeffrey, I want to big up First Lieutenant Johnson for me in the program because that Camila Johnson, brother. We were in the bush 93. You know? And that's what I do. These guys who say they have uniform and badge, man. They must sell out to the one and don't sell out to the one. Yeah, we need dedicated people, patriotic people, brother, for govern our country, brother. That's me. You see all the PSO, Jeffrey? Well, I don't understand how them so silent. You see the academia? I can't believe how them so silent.
Sir, let me say something to you. I don't blame PSAJ to be quiet, You know why?
No.
Count how much member of the private sector organization really go to the polls to vote.
You're right.
You know who go to the polls to vote, sir?
Yeah, we.
The people who live below.
The working class poor. The poor working class.
The people who lives in the countryside of this country. They are the one who go and vote. And they are the one who, after Hurricane Melissa and Hurricane Beryl, have no roof over their head. Those are the people who continue to put in these bandits into the parliament of this country.
You're right.
Some of these bandits.
You're right. So.
And I will keep on saying this. People like Daryl Vaz and Dalrymple Philibert should never be sitting in the parliament of Jamaica.
No, only them two there, brother. Well, you have a man like dead man Mackenzie and the rest. What the man there represent people? What kind of people's representation you get of the people? I tell like shamelessly how much shelter you have to pay and how much this you. Come on, man.
The question we must ask ourselves: there's a next hurricane season on us. We're going May 1st. That's Friday coming. Then you have June hurricane season start. How many hurricane shelters have this administration built or built since the last hurricane? How many Jamaicans, how many people from St. Elizabeth Westmoreland, and Hanover have roof over their head? How many? Yet they say they spend $1 billion. This is what is going on in this country. And we, the people, sit down and accept it. I'm not going to stay long tonight, you know. As soon as Sir Fitz Jackson come on and we talk up the things, then I'm going to come off air. We face some serious problem in this country. Very serious problems. I was hoping that I would have my good friend Headboy on tonight, but I don't hear from Headboy at all. Let me see if I can get through to Member Jackson. Okay. What happened to your phone, man? It look like Andrew cut you off.
Oh no, I don't know. But you know, I was saying the militia was sitting down at the 4 barracks them at Jamaica. Them supposed to could have mobilized them to build houses, you know. Look here. No. We're not talking about
the JDF.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about is the money that was spent.
Yeah, I understand.
Was spent. They have a thing they call the roof program. And they're giving out $500,000. What the hell can $500,000 to build a house in Jamaica?
Yeah, but if them get the material and get the JDF to put on the roof, that's a more economical.
I'm saying to you, sir, it's not about the roof.
It's the money that
the Jamaicans in the diaspora send down, and the money that other countries has donated, like the Cayman Islands, where the money they gone?
So after Mocha, when Mocha really use? What Mocha use?
What can Mocha do, sir?
Oh, so you bring the relevant agency for investigate them thing. Like.
Have the Jamaican people call out the relevant agencies, sir?
Well, Jeffrey, me a man, me a Michael Marley PNP.
Well, me no Michael Marley na JLP, you know, me a Jamaican.
No, I know. Me to express my opinion, Jeffrey. We pay opposition leader yearly. I'm have the benefits.
Why are you blaming Mark Golden?
No, listen now. 478,000 people vote for the PNP. 478,000 people. That's an organized group, right? And I know when the PNP wasn't in agreement with Dennis Chang, assume the position where the big nose man gained. There was an island like demonstration. The PNP go around and them demonstrate. We are calling up now.
Let me ask you a question, sir. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember the gas riot of the 1990s?
Yes.
Who you think organized the gas riot?
Jeffrey, you might not agree. You might not in agreement with me when I'm going to tell you who organized the gas riot. Because listen, I used to see some white people are coming to my community in 2 o'clock a morning, 3 o'clock a morning, right? And let me tell you something. You might not know this, but external forces were behind.
Let me tell you who organized the gas riot of the 1990s.
You tell me some university student.
Let me tell you this that I know for a fact.
Some university student.
Let me tell you this, sir, as for a fact that I know of.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to call no name. I came into Kingston to do some business in Kingston with my step-parents. You see? My adopted parents. And I happened to go over to the University of the West Indies that same day. The day before I got a call pertaining to what was going to happen. In Negril I was. I went up to UWI to meet some friends of ours. Was going UWI. All right? And I can tell you who organized that gas riot. I know internal and external forces.
Listen.
Hold on for me, sir. Know? Hold on.
All right.
There are some people in this country who have some names that I cannot call who helped to organize this gas riot of the 1990s. And no external forces organize nothing. It's the Jamaican people did it.
But listen this. Who you know never have an island-wide reach. The political directorate has that island-wide reach.
No. Those people, and I'm not gonna call in the name. They have the money and they did it. They did it because they were tired of partisan. They did it.
Well, if they were tired of partisan, that means the opposition to partisan, the political opposition to partisan, then had a hand in the gas riot.
Of course they did.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
So don't tell me it's no external forces. Was it external forces?
Well, the political forces were there. Hidden and sometimes visible. So that's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Yes.
Right.
So
but
you all are calling on Mark Golding now to organize protest.
He's a leader, isn't he?
No. What happened to the Jamaican people?
Mark Golding is a leader, boss.
Answer the question.
Uh-huh.
Is everything the opposition must do for the Jamaican people?
Not everything, but Mark Golding is a leader.
What was it Mark Golding who organized the Jamaican people to go out there when Carter was coming out of prison?
That was an island-wide. That was an island-wide.
Answer the question for me.
No, but that was an island-wide show of support
hold on
for
there
Carter.
now. Let me ask a question again. What is going on in this country? People being gunned down in this country. Mark Golding must organize, right? Mark Golding must organize protest for that.
No, Jeffrey. Don't set me up. Don't set up the straw man and let me down like that. We're not talking about the island-wide extradition or killing what take place. Mark Golding talk about it. He talk about it.
And that is why what I'm saying to you, sir, it is time for the Jamaican people, sir, to get up. They can't depend on people to do things for them.
Well, listen up, Jeffrey.
Monty Perkins and Barbara Bluden have been talking till they're dead. One thing me know. They come to tell me don't stop talking, and they're not going to kill me off.
No. We don't want you to stop talking now. We don't want you to stop talking. Well, you have to mobilize the people.
Who?
And you have to encourage the people. Jeffrey, when you open eyes, you open people's eyes to certain things where people are really aware of.
Then if the eyes are opening, sir, why they sit down?
Well, that's a question I can't answer.
Oh, okay.
But we are called upon the leader of the PNP to be more vocal right now. I know he's trying his best, but now you have 28 member of parliament beside you, not 14 or more, 28. Show your class now as a leader.
Why should Mark Golding step down if he only collecting taxpayers' money? Why them in the parliament step down? Why Holness step down?
No, that's a shameless whole liar. And probably the man that tells so much bare-faced lie, and them attitude not really right as becoming as a leader. They are really betrayer. Them are not patriotic leader. Them are not patriot. Them they for feather them own nest. You know, they're not really ready for this. It's only a pity, you know. It's only a pity Paul Buchanan never unseated. That's all. But the man is sick. The man is sick people's stomach, man. Trust me. The man is sick people's stomach. The man is unbecoming of a leader. The man really hustler. Go on and lie and make stupid promises and anything for retain power, and then go around and I tell people about them maker and come on, them people are sick, man. Them people are sick. Them people should have been at the end.
Don't you think the Jamaican people are sick enough to put them back in?
Yeah, that's why you see poverty are really a crime still in America. You know, the Jamaican people put back all them people in a power, brother.
If from 1962, sir, we have been hearing the same thing. The two diatribes in this country, sir, the PNP and the JLP and the JLP and the PNP, sir, have been giving the people of this country
false hope.
Yes, a hope of nothing comes out of these hopes. And if they call election tomorrow morning, Andrew Holness gone back in, who is to be blamed?
I don't believe so, though.
You stay there. I had
you
told
know,
you people, you know.
you know, Jeffrey.
I
You know,
said,
Jeffrey.
hold on for me. I said to you people in September of 2025, I said, do not be surprised, Andrew. Don't go back in the time and say, no, you're dirty labor, right? I'm not saying you. Who's back in there now? Andrew. And I'm going to say this again.
Right.
Do not be surprised if Mr. Holness decided to call the election if he not go back in.
The Jamaican people still out them beating for a belly full, as usual.
You know what Andrew used to hold the people them? Minimum wage. And you go right back in.
Another shameless lie.
All right.
Boy, Jeffrey.
Look how long Andrew go in. Listen to me. No, people don't understand this, you know. The current prime minister went to Israel when he was opposition leader under Portia Simpson Miller. That's when he went to Israel. He didn't went to Israel the other day to no wall. He went to Israel when Portia Simpson Miller was in power. He was opposition leader.
It's a 3-day state visit from this brother. This wanted man, you know, who wanted in the year.
Who wanted in the year?
As a war criminal.
Who are you talking about?
Benjamin
hello. We're talking about Jamaican politics. I'm talking about film politics.
Yeah, but you see this man, go Tel Aviv and get a 3-day state visit as opposition leader.
He went to Israel as opposition leader when he went to the wall. Hold on for me.
And get a 3-day state visit.
Hold on. When you're opposition leader and he went to the wall in Israel, at that time he was opposition leader. He went back when he was prime minister. He never got to the wall when he was prime minister.
No, I understand.
Okay.
No, I understand. So he went twice.
He went twice. And maybe 3 times on a private jet.
Oh, Christ. Oh, no, I understand. No, I understand.
When he was opposition leader, when Mama P was prime minister, he visited Israel.
Mm-hmm.
When he became prime minister, when he visited Israel as opposition leader, he went and visited the wall.
Mm-hmm.
When he was prime minister, he went back to Israel, a delegation. Consists of some powerful people in this country.
Mm-hmm.
That's why some people get burned at large land for build houses. Jeffrey, behave yourself.
Whoa. So my Negro family at Jamaica, you know. Them right now for be slave again, you know, man. They're right to be slave again, you know. Cause they don't really know what's going on. They're in a position where they can go back in a slavery, man. They don't really know what's going on.
Question. You know what? Make a don't.
They're right to go back in a slavery right now, man.
Father, I stretch my hand to thee, O Lord, not a help I have but you.
Boy, may I tell you to rotted.
You know who own NCB Bank?
Yeah.
Okay. You know that the person for NCB Bank own a private Lear jet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You know who on the prime minister went to Israel?
Yeah.
Okay. And they come back to them, they don't use sugar land to plant cassava and all kind of shibangarang. And the poor coffee farmers in Mavis Bank can't get their coffee sell. I'm telling you something, man. We better wake up in the country.
Yo, listen. You can't depend on the poor in Jamaica for initiate change, don't understand? You know? And the middle class who benefit from the
What middle class?
Still quiet.
What middle class?
The Teachers Association, the Nurses Association, Civil Service Association.
Hold on for me, sir. Jamaica don't have a middle class in it, sir. It's rich and poor.
Rotted.
Our middle class has died from the 1980s to the 1990s. Dead. There's no middle class in this country.
Yeah, my man said one time, you know, Jeffrey, a prominent PNP MP once said, you know, the first time in life, you know, him say, wealth move from the poor to the rich, you know, in the 90s, you know.
I like him talking about. You mean the great Reverend Ronald Thwaite?
Yo, that is a disgrace, that, you know, man. The coffee farmer, they're supposed to eat all that, you know, man. I tell you.
As far as I'm concerned, sir, even the people of St. Elizabeth, they better wake up, you know. Because their little bread basket parish that they have is turning into a drugs trafficking parish organized by the elites of the elites in Parliament.
Jeffrey, sometimes, you know, they say, we hear tons of coke leave from Ian Fleming's airport. And sometimes I say to myself, what if for the CIA coke? What if for the CIA coke?
Listen to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are some things that you know but you can't talk about here, you know. You have to just keep it quiet.
You're right. I better not go into certain conversations. Yeah. All right, you know, it makes sense.
But there is some blue trucks traversing the roads of St. Elizabeth that is owned by some people of the Vumvava and the Vumvavi in the Parliament. There is some SUVs, Pradas and black BMWs and blue BMWs that is up and down in the parish. When you think that St. Elizabeth not come back to where it is, we better think again. It is now 7:58, a minute before 8 o'clock, a minute before 7 o'clock in Jamaica. Let me see if I can get a hold of Member of Parliament Sir Fitz Jackson. You see that you know why you're talking. I see that they're using Pegasus by you.
Yeah. Calling us straight, and I realized from where they apparently they bugged my phone or something.
No phone no bug, man. The system, the network system, so no phone no bug.
I have a 5G phone I use and I call you right now, and I tell you. Sometimes the callers drop them way there, and I say to myself, you know. At times, you know, still, Jeffrey, you're in that system where you can't really trust nobody, you know. The 5i, you know.
The Bible
listening.
But didn't the Bible say him trust your own, sir?
Yeah, true.
Okay.
True. Oh, we need another political party in Jamaica, though.
What political party we need?
We need another political party.
You mean the one who said they're not buy how much F-16 jet and submarine and gunships?
Guyana do it, man. And Guyana not even 1 million people. And Guyana feel about 4 different political parties.
Let me say something to you, sir. I agree with you that we need a different political party in this country, sir. But the Jamaican people, sir, they have, just like you, didn't you say you're Michael Manley die-hearted? Huh? Like you're gone again. Hello? Oh, Lord. See there? We may need another political party in Jamaica, yes? We may need another political party in Jamaica, yes, but aren't you a die-hearted comrade?
Yes. I love the PNP. I love Michael Manley PNP.
So if then Michael Manley not dead?
Yes, but Michael Manley initial plan made me hook on the PNP.
Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, but so Jeffrey.
Isn't the PNP of yesterday to today is 2 different PNP?
2 totally different PNP. I'm not a fanatic, you know. Don't tell me I'm not a fanatic, but I could never vote for the JLP. Never in my life. Never vote for the JLP. Come on, Jeffrey.
But
never vote for the JLP.
In the great United States, sir, don't Republicans vote for Democrats and Democrats vote for Republicans?
Yeah, the great United States is like Jamaican politics, you know, Jeffrey.
And I ask you a question, sir.
Yes.
So what is it that why you decide to say you would never vote for the Labour Party?
I tell you why would I never vote for the JLP. I tell you straight why I never vote for the JLP. I say the JLP turn them gun on their own people. In a Tivoli garden. That I won. Right? That I won. Because I never vote for them.
But the PNP said that there wasn't an angel at Green Bay, sir?
Listen, That's true. But the scale of atrocity will take place down there, so me a Bush Golden run off his mouth on the leadership in America. And him should even open his mouth.
I am not talking about American politics.
No, me not talk about Jamaican politics. Me not talk about Jamaican politics. No, me not go about America, but me I say you appease the empire and you go along the table of the garden and you slaughter so much hundreds of people.
And
right?
I'm asking you the question. Didn't the People's National Party say that there was an angel at Green Bay?
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about that?
That's true. You see the Green Bay affair. The Green Bay massacre. We don't have enough detail on it to make a conclusive opinion.
Why not?
That's it. We never research it, Jeffrey. And one of them they may go in a discussion with it. But we never really do no whole research on it. When Dudley Thompson said there was no angel at Green Bay.
The late Dudley Thompson, former Minister of National Insecurity and No Peace in this country, came out and said there was an angel at Green Bay.
Oh yeah, remember the start. Remember they on TV and I said that. Remember they in a discussion and I said that. Remember.
Okay.
Remember.
When poor people Pitney was brutally murdered in this country. I tell you something, you know. When I tell you the two parties no better barrel, no better hearing.
Jeffrey, the two parties been using common criminal to contain the poor. Now them are use police with it. They use common criminal to contain the poor. In every inner city, a common criminal then use to contain the poor. In every inner city. The man they are done, the man they say.
Oh Jesus, sorry. Didn't plan to cut him off at all. Sorry, my friend, didn't plan to cut you off at all. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Everybody report to the Dan man contain the poor. And the Dan man have to report to the politician and the police, unless he end up in a cell at GP with gunshot and then they light him. That's how it go in Jamaica. Or you put on a wig with some lipstick and some high heel boot and try to hide the system. That's how it go. You see what I deal, Jeffrey? They use common criminal in a inner city to contain the poor. Now them use police to contain the poor. Go around and do extrajudicial killing, kill people in their bedroom and give people a beg for their life and anything. And any guns can kill a man with a gun, you know. That's a easy thing, you know.
But don't they have an ambassador of plentiful Rocky Mead, a former chief of the Jamaica Defense Force, who sits at Jamaica House. If it was the United States, he'd be dragged before the Senate inquiry.
Yeah, man. But the selection board, I see them already in a jail. See the officer them, you know.
Until now, the people of this country cannot know. And Delroy Chuck can't tell the Jamaican people or Rocky Mead who ordered the JDF members to go up to Kirkland Heights at Keith Clark House to assassinate a Jamaican citizen on Jamaican soil. Who was and they also assassinated how many poor people Pitney in the Valley Garden. I think this country are these people who run this country having a heart for the people of this country, sir? Anyway, let me see if I can get hold of the opposition spokesperson and national security.
Remember, Mr. Broomfield case, so bring it to my attention for me, please. I'll be here listening. I'll be here listening.
All right, sir. Thanks much for calling in.
Yeah, respect every time, Jeffrey.
Respect, yes, man. We are standing by to join the opposition spokesperson and national security. Promise me faithfully he will be coming on. Let's see if he's going to come on because I don't have enough time on this program here tonight. Let me get a hold of him and see if he's going to come on. Member Jackson. Stand by for me, please. Let me play something here. Until I get a hold of Member Jackson here. How long must we continue like this? And every 5 years, we jump up like we're a bunch of idiots. I have never seen in all my entire 50-something years in this country see so much corruption. I saw it in the 1990s. But the 1990s is baby compared to this. This Andrew Holness government is one of the most corrupt political organizations in the history of this country. This Andrew Holness administration is one of the most corrupt political administration in the history of Jamaica. How long must we continue like this? And every 5 years, we jump up like we're a bunch of idiots. I have never seen in all my entire 50-something years in this country see so much corruption. I saw it in the 1990s. But the 1990s is baby compared to this. This Andrew Holness government is one of the most corrupt political organization in the history of this country. This Andrew Holness administration is one of the most corrupt political administration in the history of Jamaica. I can repeat it again. This Andrew Holness administration, led by the leader himself, who is the Prime Minister of this country, Andrew Michael Bogard Holness, is one of the most corrupt organization in the history of Jamaica. One of the most corrupt government known. Everywhere you turn, corruption here, corruption there. And the sad part of it... The sad part of it, we're standing by to join Member Jackson. Give him about 2 minutes. He'll be coming on to speak to us about the recent utterance by the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang. You know, I want to play something here that came out of Nationwide this morning with George Davis.
PNP as a parliamentary group say what will the PNP as a parliamentary group say if when they return to government an opposition member for some reason is named and told to leave and they refuse? On what grounds will you say that they should abide by the rules? Even beyond that, what's the PNP's position on rule obeyance? A big woman like Dr. Brownberg named and told that, member, please leave, and you refuse. And I couldn't hear clearly what they were saying, but it didn't appear to me as if anyone was saying, all right, Angela, come, maybe you walk out. And no, they stood there defending it.
When are we going to get some really clean journalism in this country? When? When can we get some clean journalism in this country? We have joining us here, opposition spokesperson and national... I can move this thing out of here. Opposition spokesperson and national security, Sir Fitz Jackson. Member Jackson, welcome to the Make We Talk program, sir.
Good evening or good night to you, Sir Jeffrey. My apology for my delay in joining here. I was caught up in another interaction and the time just slipped away just slipped away.
I understand. Member Jackson, once again, welcome to the Make We Talk program.
My pleasure, sir.
I can't start the program without asking you, what a ruckus in the parliament last night, man?
I've come to learn that you persons from that Fort Estate, you never stick to any one topic that you arrange for. And I think that you would say it's a privilege that you have to go anywhere that you may choose to detour to. As you know, last night, we left the Parliament minutes to 2 o'clock this morning. We had the continuation of the sectoral debate, followed by the NARA legislation that the government had tabled. And it's public knowledge that the opposition from the outset had expressed some very grave concerns that we had in what the provisions of the bill are. We had then, and we continue to still have, no objection to a legislation to assist in the recovery and rebuilding exercise in Jamaica. However, what we are not pleased with is what is in the bill and what was not in the bill.
Yes.
And in a nutshell, one, in terms of what is in the legislation, which is very different from what the Prime Minister and others speak about,
yes,
as it relates to the legislation. In the legislation, in a nutshell, it gives ministerial power,
yes,
to the Prime Minister to make a raft of decisions without any regard to due process, without any regard to accountability, without any regard to transparency in these various transactions. And bear in mind that NARA is a legislation that intervenes on major projects, those over $15 million of expenditure that the authority they can exercise unilateral authority. For example, in the legislation, it gives the minister the power to bypass all the regulatory authorities in the country, all except none. So as it relates to building approval, the local planning authorities, the parish councils and so forth, they can just be cast aside. And the minister, through NARA, does its own approval. And the law states that those approval is as if they were done by those agencies. So take an institution like NEPA that is supposed to protect the environment. And not don't say protect the environment, protect people.
Yes.
All the precautionary steps to be done in building or reconstruction, all of those can be disregarded. NARA can disregard them. Ministry of Health, NEPA, any other regulatory authorities, NEPA can bypass them. Two, NEPA can go about procuring any goods and service without tendering. The Prime Minister, CEO, or the Prime Minister through the CEO can choose any contractor that they want without any regard for bidding process. These are just some of the provisions. And then the only checks you have is after they have done the act. So they have to take a report at the end that the Auditor General can then examine. This is after they have done all that they have done. So there's no way for accountability as you proceed. And you're talking about a minimum of 6 months after each financial year. So I just try to whet your appetite and your listeners to why we were so vociferous in our opposition to the bill in the form that it exists. So we did not vote. The opposition did not vote for the bill.
Let me answer this question to Member Jackson. If all what you're saying to me about this NARA bill, isn't that a recipe of corruption, sir?
It is not a recipe. it is an open provision for corruption. It is legislation of corruption. It is a way to legitimize and make illegal corrupt actions. That's what it does. And what it does is to create, seek to create an autocratic state where the Prime Minister as the minister. You see, in this bill, it makes Jamaica a company that is answerable to only the Prime Minister. The bill is like you, Jeffrey, have a company where you are the executive chairman and major shareholder. Do I need to say anything more?
No. In other words, no one can say anything to Andrew.
Exactly, because you are the final authority. And nobody can question anything. Because all the institutional provisions for accountability and transparency, the law says that it's okay not to be accountable. And what we say, when you hear the Prime Minister speak, or the minister, he will say, and as he did, those things will be done. So what he says, just trust me to do it. Don't require me to do it. Don't require me to put in anything in legislation that I must do this. You have word in the bill, for example, the minister may table. May. Shall.
May. In other words, you don't have to.
No, you don't have to. I was reaching, I thought I had a copy of the bill next to me, as I did earlier on. Yes, I do. But anyway, I don't want to detain you by citing particular sections, but I invite the public. It's on the internet.
If you can find it, remember, Jackson, go ahead, because people want to know, and a lot of Jamaicans understand this narrow bill.
I never came prepared on a note basis. I had a couple of jottings that should I have decided to participate. Yes, section 7 of the bill says the minister may appoint a committee to examine and report to the minister and any activity of the authority. May. And when that report is done, he has no obligation to table it before the Parliament. Everything that they may do, I know that's a may, is an option that they have, not a requirement. And reporting and accountability is all about making for transparency to the public. For example, in section 5.2, for the appointment of the CEO,
yes,
is not done by any board or any tribunal.
The Prime Minister.
Or the panel. The Prime Minister.
And
the bills don't set out any process through which this person is appointed. It's the Prime Minister's appointment. It doesn't set out any minimum qualification for the person. And when I was going through the bill and taking my notes, it was Petrojam, deja vu. Because I remembered being on the Public Accounts Committee then, and the PAAC. I recall very clearly how the former human resource manager was employed with less than the required qualification and was being paid a salary that was greater than the person who she took it over from, the incumbent at the time. And when everything was brought to light and she had to leave, the Prime Minister, who was the minister in charge of the portfolio at the time, agreed to a separation package with a compensation that was greater than what the Prime Minister was earning at the time.
Wasn't the Prime Minister Andrew Wallace at that time?
He was the minister in charge of energy of the portfolio at the time. After Andrew Wheatley had to leave the portfolio, he assumed the portfolio for about a year. So he became the minister in charge while the separation took place of the HR manager at the time.
Yeah.
And you know, Jeffrey, remember that is the same Prime Minister that wanted to put the Chief Justice on probation during his tenure.
I have never heard in my life.
So that he could fire him whenever he made a judgment that he was not satisfied with.
Is this Prime Minister, in your mind, Member Jackson, a dictator?
Well, the action can answer that for itself. Oh, and by the way, it's the same Prime Minister who had required 2 of his senators
yes, I was going to say that
to have pre-signed resignation letters. So if they make a decision or was about to make any decision that he never take kindly to, they would go immediately. And it's the same Prime Minister that piloted the NIDS bill that would deny Jamaica of essential services if they are not registered under the program, but would allow foreigners to enjoy those essential life-saving services, like those through hospitals, etc.
Yes.
And I could go on and on. And by the way, it's the same Prime Minister who caused his members to vote against the Banking Services Act that would stop the banks from extracting the monies from their accounts, as they continue to do up until this day. So, you know, you don't have to take my word, your listeners don't have to take my word for it. Just look at the track record and it speaks for itself. It was the same Prime Minister who brought into being the state of emergency that gave the army the power to go and scrape up all those young people across the country and lock them up for weeks and months in some circumstances without any access to due process. It was the same disaster risk management execution where persons who came out on TV and criticized the Prime Minister was searched for and detained by the police within hours and required to make public apologies to the Prime Minister. Those are not things I'm making up. These are just things that I am reminding people of. And you can understand why we have the deep sense of fear and resentment for what those powers that are provided for to the Prime Minister under the NARA Act. But one thing I can commit to is that the opposition, there are consequences to elections, and we were not as successful as we wanted to be the last elections in September last year. We won a number of seats, over 100% of what we had before, but we never won enough to form the next government. But notwithstanding that, we acknowledge and accept our obligation to protect the interests of the Jamaican people and the Jamaican state. And from the position that we are in now as opposition, we remain resolute and committed to be the watch, eyes, and ears of the country's affairs and the practice of the government to protect the interests of our people. And we commit to be diligent in that regard. But in so doing too, we welcome the support of the public, because the truth be told, you can't fight a battle unless you have an army.
Yes.
And while we have the responsibility to be generals in the army, we need soldiers to fight with us, and the people are our soldiers.
Member Jackson, before we go any further to talk about security, something went on to the Parliament last night where the Speaker said that Member Brown-Burke touched the mace.
Yes.
I didn't see it because I've been searching for some videos to look.
She did. She did.
She did.
What happened is that, and let me preface this comment to say this, Jeffrey. The current Speaker has been in the Parliament September coming 32 years continuously.
Go ahead.
I have been in the Parliament for 32 years this year.
Wow.
Continuously.
Yes.
And I've been in the Parliament through various administration changes. PNP, JLP, JLP, PNP, PNP, JLP. Each time we are in opposition, it's a JLP speaker that sits in the chair of the Parliament.
Yes.
This is the worst I've ever seen for all my 32 years in the Parliament. I say that without equivocation. The worst I've ever seen. And I go further. It's the most disgraceful I've ever seen. And why do I say that? Because yes, I can say that that's a very strong statement, but it's an honest and truthful statement. And I'm not going to ask you or any of your viewers to take what I say as the sole basis of my claim. Just watch some of those clips. Just watch some of those proceedings where the speaker presides and see the manner, the conduct, the tone, the expressions on her when she's dealing with matters concerning members across the floor. Just look at them. And I will say to anybody and you, if you are satisfied, even yesterday, if you look on some clips on yesterday's proceedings and watch her manner and what she says, and if you are pleased and satisfied with what you see, then we have nothing more to discuss other than to say that your value system of decorum and balance does not coincide with mine. And I don't wish to be a part of what is okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at it and form your own judgment.
I want to play a clip of Speaker Holness and a clip of the Speaker of the House of Commons in London with the same issue with the maze. I hope I find the right video here. I want to play it, make you see.
It's a joke, you know. Angela Brown Burke, outside.
I think, David, debate to be resumed what day? I must order the honourable gentleman to withdraw immediately from the House for the remainder of this day's sitting. Mr. Russell Moyle, please leave the chamber.
Marshall, vote for her. Members, I name Angela Brown Burke and ask that she be removed from the chamber.
Dr. Angela Brown Burke was removed from the parliamentary sitting after she interfered with the ceremonial mace during a heated debate.
Member, at no time can you grab the mace in Parliament.
I think the honourable gentleman will know the implications of his action. I must order the honourable gentleman to withdraw immediately from the House for the remainder of this day's sitting.
Basically, Member Jackson, you saw the display of the Speaker of the House in London to the Jamaican Speaker of the House. You see the difference? She act like a living virago.
Well, Jeffrey, you saw what I saw. You saw it recorded, I saw it live. I was there.
So can't you use 77A against the Speaker, Member Jackson?
We will use the tools at the appropriate time. Timing is important. Not just the act, but the timing. We will do.
When the Speaker ordered Member Brown Burke to leave the Parliament, Member Jackson, why didn't the members of the People's National Party get up and said, okay, Daryl Vaz needs to leave the House too? Did you see his behavior inside the Parliament, sir?
Well, you know, part of, I will say this is first, I'm going to say it publicly. After all, this is just less than 24 hours after what took place in the Parliament yesterday. But one of the reasons why I was particularly perturbed about yesterday was what preceded the incident with my colleague MP Brown Burke.
Yes.
Because as I said at the outset, she did touch the mace. She did lift the mace, which is a breach of parliamentary procedure. But there's a background to it. And before I touch on that particular one with Angela, when the debate started on the NARA bill, the first speaker on the opposition side was MP Dayton Campbell. And in his presentation, which was a wonderful presentation, I must say, and I wrote him and I verbally commended him on that delivery yesterday. During his presentation, he made he brought to light some very uncomfortable truths about what is existing in his constituency and across Jamaica. Those uncomfortable truths, and I pluralize it because it's many of them that he spoke to, the government side was very uncomfortable, as they should, in light of those things he brought to the fore. And they were most disruptive. I sat there, Jeffrey, and looked at the speaker with her hand to her chin. Watch her colleagues on their side disrupting Dayton for an extended period of time and did nothing. She did nothing to control or contain them or deter them. That caused Dayton to have to stand there and wait because they were just going on. And on the other hand, when a member from our side was speaking and members on my side were making heckling remarks, she intervened immediately to quiet them. And it shows explicitly how biased. She is not a neutral umpire in the House as she's required to be as a speaker. I was annoyed by it. I too made some shouts to her to ask if she's not going to control the House because it was so terrible. It's after that, during the committee stage of the NARA bill, Angela was trying to get her attention to make an intervention, and she obviously ignored her. She beckoned to her because no, you can't press the button. You have to show your hand. And she was there for an extended period, seeking to get her attention. Now, Angela is just a few feet away from the speaker's chair. Not like where I am sitting down to the other end.
Yes.
No more than about 25 or so feet from her. And she ignored her. And out of being ignored and wanted to contribute, she took up the mace to get her attention. That's how the mace removal came about. Deliberately to get the attention of the speaker.
Was it the speaker who saw her pick up the mace or somebody told the speaker?
The speaker, it was in clear view of the speaker. I saw it from where I was. Angela is not denying that she took it up.
Okay.
She's not denying that she took it up. I saw her like minute. She literally took it up. And I said she's not denying that. But in our history, we have had to do illegal things to get redress. We have to do some things that is against the existing law and convention to get redress. I won't promise anyone that I will not break any law for justice. I'm not promising anybody that. I won't break any law as it comes to honesty. I won't break any law as it relates to trust. I won't break any law as it comes to violence.
Yes.
But I will break any law that denies justice. I will break any law that preserves injustice if the circumstance warrants it. And no doubt, my colleague would say, breaking the procedure was what she felt was the most appropriate thing to do to get the attention of the Speaker that she deserved as an elected member of the House that wants to participate in an open discussion.
Member Jackson, let me ask you this question, though, Member Jackson. The last time Juliet Holmes was Speaker of the House, she operated the same way. When the election called and they named her as Speaker of the House of Representatives, a vote came in. Couldn't the People's National Party say no? We don't want to be a part of this?
Well, you said if they should have. I am telling you that we did.
But at the same time, Member Jackson, Member Paulwell voted say yes.
No. On the first time around, when she took over from Dalrymple, yes, that was done. When we saw the metal that she was made of, subsequent to then, after the election, we not only did we not vote, but we made a public statement about why she should not be returned as the Speaker. So it is not factual that we voted for her, and it is not factual that we were silent or quiet about our return to the Speaker's chair. Yes, we supported and we voted the first time, gave her the benefit of the doubt, because doubts there were. Some members felt very strongly on our side, but collectively we did not pose an objection. But the second time around, after we saw how she behaved, and we came to the clear conclusion that her proximity with the Prime Minister may very well have been a contributing factor to the way she conducted herself as Speaker. And we never supported her return the second time around.
So the second time around, the PNP never supported her return?
Absolutely not. I go further. We publicly objected to her assuming the chair.
Is there a way, can the People's National Party lead a petition from the people of this country to say we don't want Juliet Holmes as Speaker?
All options are on the table, and as I said before, the opposition will pursue what we deem to be the appropriate options at that critical time. Again, timing is everything.
But Member Jackson, the
never perfect.
Time is now, sir.
Well, now is open. Tomorrow will come. Tomorrow will come. I can appreciate the eagerness for the resolve, for a meaningful resolution today, and I sympathize with that. But I can assure you, right, that it is not the case that nothing will be done. Personally speaking now, for myself, more should have been done last night. And I say no more in that regard.
With they telling Member Brown-Burke to leave the proceeding of the Parliament last night, will there be another, I wouldn't say censure, would there be another thing for her not to come back for the Parliament for now?
No, the suspension was for the rest of the sitting. So that action would have, by the House, would have closed. Any further action would have to be on the basis, well, anybody can move a motion in the House to go to the Ethics Committee or any one of those regulatory committee of the House. But I don't want to preempt or attempt to preempt anybody's contemplation. Whatever it comes up, we will deal with it when it comes, if it comes.
You know, Member Jackson, wasn't there some visitors in the halls of the Parliament last night when all that was going on? Are they already left?
You know, it's interesting you ask that question. I've already stated to you that the speaker we have knows the worst that I've ever seen. And I say that without any apology. And the incumbent speaker oftentimes like to lecture the members about their conduct, where people are seeing us as visitors in the chambers and through the electronic coverage of the proceedings of the Parliament. But I think she should first tell herself that before she tells us. Because quite frankly, the House's speaker don't have the moral authority to lecture me about decorum in the House. And those clips that one of which you showed tonight is evidence of what I'm talking about.
Yes. Yes.
She don't have the moral authority to even whisper to me about decorum in the House. She don't have the moral authority to lecture me about civility.
Wow.
In the House. Some other persons can. I don't profess to be the perfect such person or the nicest person in those regards. But she's not qualified by her conduct to even whisper to me about public decorum.
Member Jackson, last night I saw a display in the Parliament with Member Marlon Malawuford. Is it that is that member Marlene is voting against the Naira bill in the Parliament?
Well, remember that there were a series of votes last night.
Yes.
Because the bill went through 2 stages. You had the debate in the House on the bill, and you also had the voting on the sections at committee stages. At committee stage. And at committee stage, it's done on a clause-by-clause basis. And each clause, separately or grouped, is put to the vote by the members. You or others who watch the proceeding would see that a number of the clauses, there was a divide.
Yes, there was.
And the reason, we're not naive. We don't have the majority in the Parliament. And we know they came prepared with their numbers to pass what they came to pass. And though we don't have the numbers necessarily to defeat, and I say necessarily because sometimes the number can temporarily switch in your favor, depending on who is absent or how many is absent and how many is present on either side. We have no control over that in terms of having a majority to carry a vote, but we felt it's our duty to put in the record of the Parliament our objection to parts or all of the bill that the House is addressing. And so we will ask for, we had asked and got divide on a number of critical clauses where we did not support the amendment or support the clause in the form that it finally came to after what limited amendment was made. So you'll find a clause that we voted against, even when it had some amendments, but things that we felt were absent or make that clause deficient, and it was not taken on board, we voted against the clause as it was. In that case, because of how inadequate it was, not necessarily what it had, but what it did not have. So you had a series of those things throughout the night. And we did it merely for making the statement to the public and putting that statement in the public record.
You know, I got a call from some friends of mine last night, all the way from was it Nigeria or somewhere in one of the African countries. Called me last night and said, we're watching your channel, man. They are Jamaicans, and they're saying to me they have never seen such display in the Parliament of Jamaica. And they went further and said, in the history of Jamaica, they've never seen where the people of Jamaica has no respect for the Speaker or the Prime Minister because of the way how they operate. Member Jackson, you have been in the Parliament for over 30-something years. Have you ever seen wherein Jamaicans are disrespecting the leader of the country, sir?
Not like what I'm seeing now. There, you know what I find interesting, Jeffrey, and phenomenally interesting, and I've never seen it before in my time like this. We had an election just 7 months ago.
Yes.
September 3rd. The Jamaica Labour Party won by virtue of the electoral process. I wouldn't say necessarily won out of the integrity of the electoral process. There are some things that transpire in the last election that I speak very limitedly, there's such a word about, because I can't posit out there the evidence to support it. But the information that I have is overwhelming. Now, we lost the election because of interventions, and I'll say no more. Interventions that caused the result in a number of seats. We took the responsible route of not making a major issue over the legitimacy of the government. But what I find interesting, Jeffrey, is that though the JLP was elected, an overwhelming amount of Jamaicans have no regard for them as a government.
No, they don't.
There's a thing called Pyrrhic victory, which I no doubt you know of.
Oh, yes.
I see that very much alive coming out of September 3rd. And that, in my mind, explains the point you made a moment ago about the disregard. Because I have seen where parties have lost on either side. And there is across-the-board acceptance for the legitimacy of that party to remain in government, even from those from the side that has been defeated. This which I'm seeing is a completely different picture. And it's also interesting. I am privileged to be in a position that you are not in, which is to sit in the Parliament on a weekly basis, live with and before the other side.
Yes.
And I can tell you, I don't see or feel a sense of victory by those who were on the winning side. I have been in the Parliament on the opposition side where we have lost. I have seen where the Parliament, where the JLP has won the election by 1 seat.
Yes.
And there was a sense of feeling that they won. And there was a sense of victory on that side that we, meaning they, won. And on the PNP side of feeling that we lost.
Mm-hmm.
And we can accept we lost. Not the same this time around.
But you know something, Member Jackson, I'm happy you went back there. I was watching the victory, so-called victory speech and parade from Spanish Town. I think it was Spanish Town where the Prime Minister was. Or it was Belmont Road. I remember
It was Belmont Road.
Yeah, Belmont Road, yes. And when I looked at him when he came in, his wife whispered something to him. Because he came in with a long face. His wife whispered something to him. And when the wife said something to him, he started to perk up. A lot of Jamaicans saw that and said, no, something is wrong. It reminds me of the leadership race also between Andrew Holness and Manayard Shaw. What I saw on that stage that day, it tells me that something is fundamentally wrong when it comes on to honesty in this country, comes on to elections rather.
Well, Jeffrey, don't think that you are a genius. Don't think that you're a genius.
Yes.
Many others saw the same thing you saw. And many others formed the same position that you have formed. Because for you, you saw what you saw. You saw the evidence.
Yes.
Like many others, including myself.
But Member Jackson, before we switch to the security system which we're coming to speak about, a lot of Jamaicans, both in the Jamaican diaspora, is saying also, Member Jackson, that the People's National Party should have come out vocal and spoke about the issue of the election, because Jamaicans in the diaspora, Jamaicans at home, realized the election was stolen.
Yes, I've heard that comment made by many, and I can empathize with the sentiments, because these Jamaicans have to live with their country being treated in a way that don't cause them to be proud, to be proud of their country when they see that. We understand that, we appreciate that. But we have had to take a position that we believe could assist to preserve the country. Because the truth, I will told Jeffrey, Jamaica is bigger than me and you, and bigger than the People's National Party.
It is.
And we accept that our first duty and responsibility as responsible Jamaicans and leaders is to first try to preserve the Jamaican state. Even with the flaws, even with the failures, like what happened in the election that took place there, that we have to preserve. And a former leader of the party said to me once, going into an internal election, we rather lose the election than destroy the country or destroy the party then. It's a hard decision to make, but if you're a patriot first, then the country's protection, preservation must be first.
Yes.
And yes, it's painful when you have to do some of these things, but that's some of the personal sacrifice that we have to make from time to time. And respectfully, those sacrifices are not even. That sacrifice is always far greater for those of us in leadership position than those who are not. Because we have to act on behalf of the whole, and not only in our own limited perspective or interests.
Let us switch gear, Member Jackson. We came out to speak about security, but because of what happened in the Parliament last night, we started with that.
No, I don't think that's how you should put it. You should say that because you're in control, you decide to direct where the power is going to go. And I have to submit to your leadership.
Anyway.
So that might sound like a big stone at throat. If you get injured by it, I apologize.
No, that's okay. That's okay, sir. Member Jackson, you heard the utterance of the Minister of National Security in the Parliament a couple of days ago in the sectoral presentation, where he says that the security forces will not be wearing bodycams even they're going on I hope I'm quoting it properly now. Even when they're going on special raids.
Well, I heard him. I heard him and I read it more He was clearer in reading it. But you know, I have come not to be surprised by these utterances because variants of it have been uttered before. All I will say about that, it is regrettable, it is unfortunate, it is nonsensical, it is irresponsible to have made any such statement. I have said publicly, the People's National Party have said it a number of times, and I repeat it tonight, as it relates to body-worn camera. In our country where you have, last year it is over 644.
Yes.
In a second, I can just verify the exact number that I have documented. Last year, 311 fatalities at the hands of the police. Up to a couple days ago, Monday, it was 12 for this year. 112, sorry. 112.
112 Jamaicans been murdered by the security forces?
Yes, up to Monday of this week. 2024, it was 189.
Hold on for me, Member Jackson. Repeat again so we can write them down.
In 2024, it was 189.
89 people.
189.
Yes.
And in 2025, it's 311.
311?
Yes, and up to Monday, it was the 27th. Monday the 27th, it was 112. So at 1/3 of the month of the year, it is 112.
And Member Jackson, the Minister of National Security and Peace is literally telling the JCF members, no, we're not bodycams, everything is good.
Well, again, Sir Jeffrey, as I've said elsewhere, and I say it again, and I've said it to the Commissioner, with whom I've met, and have discussions and share these concerns. We have a number of years where the murder rate and the shootings have been enormously high in Jamaica. Those are Jamaicans that we believe, well, from the records, were innocently murdered and should not have been killed, or persons have been shot. Those numbers have gone down significantly. But what we have is a correspondingly high numbers of persons being killed by the state or at the hands of the state. So you still have a high number of Jamaicans being killed anyway. The net amount, and I'm putting together some numbers to juxtapose both and see what over the last 2 years now going, what it looks like. I don't have that exercise done yet, but should be in short order. Understand the data has been collected already. Now, the police report is saying that they are attacked and the police took evasive action defending themselves, and that's why you have so much more. So if you use the numbers in 2024 of 189, 122 more persons than the year before felt extremely brave to take on the police and cause themselves to be killed. That's what we can fairly deduce from the numbers, that these so-called gunmen and criminals have become increasingly fearless to take on the police that caused them to be killed. Now, I can't rationalize that, and I have no information or anything to give a plausible explanation for why that is so. And the number of persons who are being killed less is directly related to those who have taken on the police and got killed themselves while other people are not being killed. There is no evidence to suggest that. It's also a claim that is being implied, not even stated, implied. So I have a difficulty with that. And then to compound that, while we want a crime reduction, I want it, the opposition wants it, hundreds and thousands of well-thinking Jamaica wants that, crime levels to fall, murders to go down, shootings to go down. But what we don't want is for increasing numbers of Jamaicans across various communities walk and live in innocent persons, walk and live in fear of the state authorities for their own lives. So as I've said again publicly, improved security is not just the mere reduction of murders. Reduce murder and a sense of security is when people feel free and safe to traverse every square inch of Jamaica with the confidence that their life is not threatened by anybody. Because there are countries across the world where people live in fear of the police to lose their life innocently. I don't want Jamaica to become one of those states. I don't want Jamaica to have a reduced crime rate, but an increased level of fear by people, particularly of certain socioeconomic background, who are not criminals or have any evidence of them being criminals. I am very uneasy about the number of families that may claim that their loved ones, their neighbors, their sons are taken out of their bed, like those in St. Anne recently, where one had just reported that the baby in the hand of one of the men was taken from him and given to somebody else, and he ended up dead.
I saw the video, and I said I'm going to play it. And
how could anyone claim any sense of decency and civility and be quiet about that, or embrace that as being okay, and don't feel that something is wrong, something is rotten about that scenario, and to determine what the truth is and let the truth prevail and those who is responsible be brought to justice. I have an uneasiness about that. But the problem we're having, a couple problems we're having.
Go ahead.
In these very communities, persons who bear witness to these things are afraid to speak. A young man called me this morning about a friend of his in my constituency who was killed at the hands of the police. And they're afraid to say what they saw because they're afraid of retribution. They're afraid that the police will come and do to them what they saw happen to those persons, because they never did anything. They never attacked, they didn't threaten the police, and they were killed. They're afraid that the same fate will come to them. So they are quiet. They're not quiet because everything is okay. They are quiet because they're fearful of losing their lives innocently. How can we be quiet about that? How can we be content about that? The police force have thousands of decent, law-abiding, sacrificing Jamaicans protecting us. But their reputation is being marred and tarred by these incidences. And some people are afraid to criticize because they might be seen as being anti-police. I may be criticized too as being anti-police. But I don't care about that because I know in my conscience the police is dear to me. And personally speaking, there are thousands of policemen who are my friends. People who I'm close to. People who I grew up with. And people who I socialize with at different ranks throughout the police. Not because I'm MP. Not because I'm a spokesman. But because I am their friend. I have many police in my own constituency who is dear to me and who I'm very close with. But when you say something which is uncomfortable to some people, they will want to use it to mar you. But that don't bother me because my conscience about what is right, what is fair, what is just is what is paramount, regardless of who you are. But we can't afford to be quiet or to be quote unquote careful. Because I have friends who tell me that too. Fitz, you have to be careful, you know. But like everybody else, at some point, I am going to die too. Like they are going to die too. But while we are alive, we have to be prepared to do the right things, the honest thing, the just thing, the fair thing. We have no choice if we want to be honest in our own selves. So, Jeffrey, these things are happening. Undeniably so. It is unacceptable. It is unacceptable, and I repeat that. And where there's unacceptable actions, those have to be challenged. And they can't be hugged up and embraced. In the same breath, you can't hug up criminal and criminality. But criminality comes in different forms and in different garbs. They come in different social settings too. And when it's wrong, it's wrong. What we want a society where criminals are brought to justice through due process. You know, the shooting or attempted killing of the President of the United States last week brought something to the fore to me. The top leadership of the government of the United States, and regardless of what your politics is, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, radical, that is really irrelevant to the point. But the head of the government was right in the midst of a violent set of action. And the person perpetrating that violence in threat to the president, vice president, speaker of the House, and the top government leadership who was at risk. He was apprehended alive. Someone said to me, Fitz, if in Jamaica he would be dead.
You mean they done the clip of a Hoosie on him?
No, Jeffrey, just juxtapose both situations and ask yourself if something really, really is not seriously different. The so-called leadership of the free world was at risk, and the perpetrator the perpetrator, who, by the way, never knew that that man was there, but reacted without any pre-planning or notification, reacted and apprehend and contain and control that potential murderer. And he was alive.
Is it that Jamaica has this mentality, member Jackson? By the late Hugh last share a shoot and ask question after this, and it continue until this blessed day?
Well, I don't believe, by virtue of what I'm seeing playing out, it is not shooting and asking question after. It is killing and saying nothing after. That's the contrast. Which is more dangerous?
Member Jackson, we're living a serious time in this country, do you know?
I'm sorry if I wasn't able to give you answers to the questions that you have in your own mind on that subject. But I only try to share with you the challenge which we are having as a people and as a country. And all I ask my fellow Jamaicans and others, just interrogate those facts and then come to your own conclusion. But, you know, in summary on that happens to be our reality that we have, and that's what we have to face up. As a party, we are a political party. We are not the government, but as opposition, we will retain the position and the resistance in the various different forms. Even in my utterances this evening with you, it represents a challenge to that thinking which ought not to prevail. Because I wanted to also say, and I must say it now, what is it that we want? What I want personally, what is it that the opposition want? We want a country where criminals are afraid to commit crime against innocent Jamaicans and refrain from, and if they make the mistake, that the due process prevails and they be dealt with in a just way. That's why we have a justice system. Apprehension, detention, and subjected to prosecution, where the person's fate can be determined and the courts decide what happens after the determination of guilt or innocence. We want a country with communities where every Jamaican, from downtown to uptown to midtown, from inner city to preferred communities, can feel that they can walk at any time of the day and night and go about their own lawful business for leisure, for worship, for work, and to just do nothing. They can do all those things and feel safe. That's what we want. We don't want a Jamaica where some people feel safe and some don't. And worse, feel safe out of fear for what the state, what their country will do for them. Because the police is our police, you know. Every policeman in uniform is my policeman. Is my policewoman. They are providing a valuable service for me, my friends, my family, my neighbors, and everybody else. They are my protector. They are my shoulders to lean on to feel safe. We want them, we need them. But that force cannot be the one that some Jamaicans are fearful of. And I say one last thing in that regard. Jamaica, by its own size and how contiguous the communities are, some community can feel safe and some remain unsafe. Because if you go in your secured place with camera and security guards around you, or you go in your gated community with security around you, if you can only feel safe in there, then you become a prisoner of your own space, and the quality of your life become impaired. Your real freedom is when you can move from your place of personal residence or work to other places and feel safe. That is the Jamaica that we want.
You know, Member Jackson, there's a lot of Jamaicans that I know and who may have called me off air and speak to me personally about a lot of things. There's a lot of Jamaicans who are hurting because the security forces in this country has let them down. Our justice system has let them down. And what we do in this country is to award those who don't govern properly. You don't have to comment on this. One such person is Owen Ellington. They pick up Owen Ellington and put him inside the JUTC or wherever they have him. And a lot of Jamaicans have their family members murdered in this country. On their right to Owen Ellington, not a word from them. That case gone cold. A lot of Jamaicans refuse to come back to this country because of the elites of society in this country. And those who we put there to govern us are those who put there to secure us. They don't do it. Member Jackson, Jamaicans are hurting, you know, sir. To see where this country is going.
I know, they speak to me too. They speak to me too. But for those Jamaicans that you make reference to, Jeffrey, what I would want to suggest is that they don't give up on pursuing the justice that they deserve, that they feel strongly about that they deserve. And yes, they will encounter some hurdles at different doors that they knock on, but there are alternate doors I'm certain that they can turn to. And I would want to encourage them to do that. You know, when you have a battle to fight, you know, Jeffrey, it's not so just how hard you fight, but how smart you fight, how strategic you fight. I have a little battle of my own too that I am fighting. I took Bianes to court against an action that from all legal evaluation is in breach of the law.
Yes.
That result in the extraction of billions of dollars from innocent Jamaicans and business enterprise who do banking transaction. And the first instance judge ruled predominantly in favor of the bank, even though the bank acknowledged the breach that we pointed to. I could have turned and walked away, but the matter is now before the appeals court. I never got the victory. I never got the justice I sought in the first instance, Judge. But the system also provides for alternate course of action when you feel not fairly treated. It is that provision that I am utilizing to get the justice which I think not so much so for me, but the Jamaican people deserves. Because in the instant case, even the government is colluding with the perpetrators of the breach not to remedy it. When a claim of illegality against all Jamaicans has been made, the government has not been to court to seek a judicial review to confirm that the people of Jamaica is being robbed by an illegal action. When I brought to the attention that the banks, by charging the dormancy fee and every account holder put their money in safe keeping in the banks and don't use it for an extended time, and the charging of a fee that erode the balances that they have there was then and remain a breach of existing legislation, and that they will be challenged in court. And they suspended it upon recognition of their own breach. The government, the Bank of Jamaica, has taken no step to redress the thousands of Jamaicans who have lost their money by that illegal act by the bank that they licensed. And the government of the day has taken no step to retrieve all those illegally collected monies from Jamaicans. No, Jeffrey, you can see why I personally, at least one, can say the government don't have the moral authority to talk to Jamaica about breaching the law.
And about corruption.
When it acts in complicity. And then it passed a NARA bill that will legalize certain steps, certain set of actions that can be unjust by way of corruption, by way of nepotism, by way of suppressing due process or avoiding due process. You see why I have a difficulty? But look here. Evil, injustice will always prevail where well-thinking, decent people fail to act. Because one of the difficulty I'm having with my fellow Jamaicans, we will talk. We will talk until the cows come home about what is wrong. But we are not prepared to act in confrontation with those who perpetrate the wrong. And how contradictory it is that we will decide to exercise force against criminals. Criminals because they do what is wrong. And we confront them and confront the wrongs. But we are not prepared to confront those who dress up in jacket and tie and do the wrongs. We're not prepared to confront those who dress up in the most elaborate suits on the cocktail circuit and do wrong to Jamaicans who are not so financially fortunate as they are. That's part of the hypocrisy that we live. And that's why many people are here, even some in the media, who will criticize corruption and what is wrong. They don't have the moral authority because they see these things are happening and they say nothing. They are mute. And what do? They use their eloquence to explain away their failure to do anything and then go to their bed and feel proud of how strong their argument was or is while they do nothing to stop, to reduce the wrongs that are being done.
Member Jackson, I know we have to leave now, but let me ask you this question, Member Jackson. You're saying to me tonight that Jamaicans who live overseas, who have money in the banking sector in Jamaica, and they may not use the account for a long period of time, the bank is taking out money to the account for what?
Well, subsequent to my threat to sue them for that breach in 2018, they had suspended it. And I think some time last year, within 2 weeks when I made the announcement, all 6 of them suspended it at the time. Within 2 weeks, all of them. So they have, out of fear of being sued or what, they had desisted from continuing the charge, and sometime last year they suspended it, and last year they announced that they would discontinue it. But you know what is so worrying and sad? The government, the Bank of Jamaica is yet to issue a directive to say such is in breach of existing legislation, and as such is not a choice that you have not to charge the fee. But you cannot charge the fee. Up to today, the Prime Minister and all the former ministers, current and former ministers of this government, is yet to make such a declaration, nor the governor or the Bank of Jamaica. That is how egregious it is. So Jeffrey, when you see these things prevailing, how can those people have the moral authority to talk to me or talk to you about justice and about civility and about decency and about honesty and about patriotism? What moral authority do they have on the basis of that evidence? Not that claim by me. Because if my claim is wrong, show me the contrary of what. Show me. Don't just condemn my utterance. Show me the evidence to the contrary. So yes, if I might seem arrogant in making these claims, it's because those facts support my position. Where are your facts to support your claim? That is what I live by. That is what propels me. And that is what guides my action on behalf of the people who I represent inside my constituency and in Jamaica. Because as a member of Parliament, I have a responsibility not only to those who elect me, but for those who I serve in the country.
You know, Member Jackson, I'm going to cut the conversation now, but I have to say this. Because I want you to come back at all times. I'm going to keep it on. You know something, Member Jackson? I saw where the Prime Minister went to New York a couple of days ago to beg some more money for Hurricane Melissa. I heard nothing about the $400,000 US that was given to Babsy Grange by one of Jamaica's top diplomats right here in South Florida, that the Hard Rock Cafe and other people raised. You hear nothing about it. You hear nothing about all the money that they have raised for Hurricane Melissa. Member Jackson, are you prepared to go to the Parliament of this country and demand that the Homeless Administration come clean of how much money they have collected?
But we have done that, Jeffrey. We have asked that question in Parliament.
Have you got any answer?
Not only of all the funds, we have asked NARA is supposed to take over the recovery supervision of the expenditure and so forth. In the interim, or until such thing, they have a new director of anthem, right? That is supposed to be coordinating all the post-hurricane disaster expenditure. We have asked for an accounting of those. Not just the $400,000 that you talk about, but all funds that comes to the government on behalf of the people of Jamaica. And that is what we have been saying, Jeffrey. It has to be a holistic approach in terms of accounting and for transparency in how funds and materials that are made available to assist Jamaicans. This millions and billions of dollars that we hear coming as gift. And yet you have these thousands and thousands of Jamaicans who have lost their roof, lost their houses, right? And remain in that state and with the prospect of getting no help or minimal help. There is a mismatch, but out of it becomes a huge entity called NARA that is now going to take control of these expenditures of billions of dollars. And after 6 months, you have people remaining roofless and shelterless. Worse, to tell you, sometimes when they talk about these things, and sometimes I'm one of those who probably not so quick to talk about these publicly. When you hear the talk about managing recovery, you have persons in shelters for over 6 months. And the government is unable to provide alternate shelter, that some of them are still in schools. No, Jeffrey, in God's heaven, you don't have to be a genius to say something is seriously wrong. If you have billions of dollars unspent and you still have people occupying public facility for our children because you can't come up with a solution with all the monies and technical resources at the disposal to resolve that problem, and you have minister after minister and prime minister just making statements explaining why it is so but can't fix those problems. If you can't deal with the single individual problems, issues that are affecting small numbers of Jamaicans here and there, how are you going to deal with the more complex ones? You don't have to be a genius, Jeffrey, to say something really rotten about that.
Something stink.
No, just think about it. Schools have people in their premises impeding the learning process of our children because a government can't come up with a solution. You can count them, the instances, and them can't come up with a solution for over 6 months. And all they do is to keep press conferences and make grand announcements when those situations remains the daily reality of Jamaicans. That means that they don't have what it takes up here to solve problems. What they have is a competence to explain problems.
Member Jackson, I think they don't want to solve the problem, Member Jackson. I think they don't care.
No, I'll give the benefit of the doubt and say no, because they couldn't be that wicked. So I must charge it to just incompetence.
And hurricane season upon us again.
And we're entering a new hurricane season. Again, for emphasis, Jeffrey, I invite every Jamaican, especially some supporters of the government, how do you explain that you have the power of government to fix these little problems? It's like if I have my house and I had a problem recently where I live and the roof was leaking. And I can't do anything. I have resources at my disposal, but the roof still a leak.
Makes no sense.
And all I went get up every day and explain why it's not done. And everybody inside the house flooding out and wetting up. And the bed to sleep on is wet. It would be an incompetence on my part. Because if I can't fix it myself physically, then I have to organize the solution to get it fixed. I have to get the roof man. I have to buy the material. But they're all doable things that are not being done. So if you're not wicked and bad and heartless, it must be that you're incompetent.
I don't believe
Or probably it's both.
I believe it's both, because I remember during Hurricane Beryl, the former premier of the Cayman Islands, who I know personally, and the former premier Makiba Bush, who I know personally, Julian O'Connolly came down here, hand a brown envelope to the Prime Minister, hand over a check to the Prime Minister for the people of St. Elizabeth for Hurricane Beryl. You hear nothing about it. The current premier of the Cayman Islands led a delegation to Jamaica.
I read about it.
Again.
And delivered it in person.
In person to the Minister of Finance. You hear nothing about those money. What?
And if you don't hear about the money, you need to hear about what is done with the money. Because they never give the money to be kept as souvenir. They gave them the money to solve a problem.
Are you aware of money come down in diplomatical pouch on many occasions has been raised in the diaspora, and you hear nothing about it on the consolidated funds?
Yeah, that's why I made a comment earlier on about the accountability and the transparency in regards to funds that flow in the hands of the government for assistance program and the accounting for that. And it's interesting that you raised that question, because the government, the JLP, was raising all sorts of questions through one of their partner media houses about the PNP accounting for contributions it received to assist. I happen to chair the committee in the party that coordinates assistance for people in hurricane. Yeah. And I can tell you, I know everything we get in the form of material and money. They don't spend, every week we organize different trips and distribution through some of the NGOs and through some of the members of parliament in the constituencies that are affected. And every funds that we do, we spend it on buying things or in covering expenses in getting things that we get into the hands of people. For argument's sake, if you're sending a truck down to St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland or Hanover or St. James, right? Some of those contribution funds help to finance those logistical activities.
Yes.
And literally purchase items locally, which are delivered to persons. When we get money, we don't hand out checks, but rather we put surprise. So you might have some cases that you have to do that to deal with some health situations and so on like that. But in the main, it is providing material things and to coordinate with other entities, because I can tell you, because I say I chair the committee that seeks to coordinate that in the party. What we do sometimes when we have contribution earmark, we link it with other entities who are on the delivery end of that support. So sometimes the funds don't come directly to us, but it comes through us to support assistance on the ground.
Yes. Member Jackson, the People's National Party have a website where they put up all the finance that they have gotten and so forth. Isn't that so?
Yes. We did it just for transparency purposes.
Okay. Can you say as a member of parliament if the current government has a website like that, sir?
Not that I'm aware of. I won't say they don't have, but I'm not aware of it.
Member Jackson, as we wrap up, speak to your people before we go.
And again, sorry for my delay of a couple of minutes in the beginning.
That's okay.
And I wish for all your listeners and your viewers a pleasant evening and the best of rest of week.
I want to say thanks to Member of Parliament, Opposition Spokesperson on National Security, a man who I can call him honorable, because he is. Member of Parliament, Sir Fitz Jackson. Member Jackson, thanks for coming onto the program, sir.
My pleasure, brother. All the very best. Take care.
All the best. Good night to you. I was Member of Parliament, the Honorable Fitz Jackson, for coming onto the program this evening. A very nice program, robust program. I know Wilfred Rattigan is on his program. We're going to say goodbye tonight from this program here and have a robust discussion that is going over by Wilfred Rattigan program now to go over there and listen to what he's saying. I want to say thank you all for coming on. May God bless you. And may God bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. We're going to play the Jamaica's national anthem before we go. Good night, everybody.
As children, we learn the true meaning of being a hero. Being a hero requires great sacrifice for others, not just ourselves. We learn about the heroes of Jamaica's past and how much of themselves and their lives they had to give in building a nation we should be proud to call home. They believed in a Jamaica that was more than just a country, more than just an island, more than land surrounded by water. They believed in a dream of a free nation of people, a nation built on the foundation of their sacrifices, a nation of many people working as one, a nation that would continue to produce legends and nation builders that serve towards that vision. As children, we were also taught the national pledge, a solemn promise, an undertaking. I would like to believe Sir Hugh Sherlock, while writing this pledge, understood the vision and dreams of our heroes. It's clear being a hero is too much to ever ask any one citizen. Luckily, the pledge does not require heroics of any of us. It merely asks that we honor our heroes by striving to advance our nation and ultimately inspire the world, like they and many Jamaicans have done. It's important we remember those words. These words. Before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the wisdom and courage of my mind, the strength and vigor of my body in service of my fellow citizens. I promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace, to work diligently and creatively, to think generously and honestly, so that Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. If you are like me, a Jamaican born and raised on this land, maybe you will remember saying those words, singing that song in a classroom or some general assembly. If so, like me, you made a pledge. Somehow it seems like many of us have forgotten that. the crime and violence, the indiscipline and short-sightedness, the corruption, the lack of respect for our beautiful lands we are blessed with, and the waters that surround and nurtures us. We have to do better. Let us honor our heroes so that they would not have sacrificed so much in vain. I hope this video can make a difference to even one soul. If so, it would all be worth it. If you feel the way I do, share it. May my voice become yours. Thanks for watching.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.